Hi there, Vinny from Project Frugal. Today we're going to be looking at Windows 11. What can it do for you? Well, let's find out. Alrighty then, so last night I upgraded from Windows 10 Professional to Windows 11 Professional. It was relatively painless. We're going to go through some of the steps I did to achieve this. So first of all, get your web browser of choice open and go to a Windows search engine. Well, a search engine rather. So we'll just chuck in Windows 11 specs and we'll see what the requirements are. Here's a link here. Doesn't need a high-powered PC, but it needs to be relatively modern by the looks of things. So 1 GHz processor with 2 cores on a compatible 64-bit processor. So anything that's relatively modern is going to have at least 2 cores, probably more like 4 or more. My processor's got 8 cores. 4 gigs of RAM, 64 gigs or more of storage. You need a UEFI, can't remember what that stands for, and you need the Trusted Platform module, which is something to do with power management, I believe. A decent graphics card with DirectX 12 or later, and pretty much any monitor will do the job. So if you've got all that stuff, you should be able to do that. Back a page, and we'll go into Windows 11. Let's go for installer, installation assistant, I think it is, but we'll go installer assistant. Yeah, that's the one. Windows 11 installer assistant. So if you're running Windows 10 currently, basically click on that. You should be able to find it. Download Windows 11. That sounds good to me. So let's click on that. And basically you want to download this, the installation assistant. Essentially it's going to do most of the job for you. You can also download an ISO image, or you can download the installation media, put it on a USB or a DVD, etc, etc. Essentially I just did it live online. Microsoft have made it pretty easy now. So I just basically downloaded that, save it, and well, look at that, it's finished already. Well, some of it's finished already. So if we go and open it, we'll double click on it. Basically it's not going to do anything because I've already got it installed, but essentially a window will come up, it'll say some stuff, it'll say, do you want to do it? Go for yes. It'll keep all your existing settings and might take maybe half an hour, maybe an hour. Probably, I think it took me about an hour. It actually failed on the first attempt, so I tried it again and it was fine after that. Took about an hour, and then we had basically Windows 11. So here it is in all its glory. You've got all the taskbar stuff stuck down the bottom there, so which is a bit annoying, to be honest. Now if we click on the Windows button, we've got a bunch of options here. We've got some other things on here, but click on all apps, and then you've got your list of applications. You can go and search for stuff such as, let's say, the calculator, and you'll get that up there. Now personally I like the original look of Windows, which is not like this. So we're going to use a thing called OpenShell, which is available, so we can change the taskbar, because I can never find anything like this and I don't want to go and have to search for it. So for example, if I had a disk defragmenter, for example, we've got you can type it in, but I'd rather click on stuff and make it as easy as possible. So the first thing we're going to do, in order to customize this, because like I say, I prefer it in the old style, which is maybe the Windows XP, Windows 7 type style, is we're going to right click on here and we're just going to click on taskbar settings. This is going to come up and we are going to click on, what are we going to click on? Taskbar behaviors. That sounds like a cunning plan. And taskbar alignment, we're just going to change it to left. I prefer it on the left, much easier to find stuff. And there we go. So we've still got our start menu, it's just on the left now instead of in the middle. So we can close that. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to download OpenShell. So we go into here, we will just do a search, OpenShell download. Well, Windows 11, okay, let's click on that, see what we got. How to use. And then we've got a bunch of stuff there. So let's go and have a look at this one here. Welcome to the OpenShell menu from GitHub. Let's click on that. We've got a bunch of stuff around this. Now this isn't not necessarily ready for Windows 11, but we're going to have a look at it anyway. So if we click on release up here, we've got a bunch of stuff there. We can click on releases. We can click on, what can we click on? We can click on that. And what else have we got there? We got the latest. Okay, we've got an exe here, so let's just save that. We will save file, and we will let that download, and it's already downloaded. So we'll go and run that. We'll just click on it, and we'll just run it. OpenShell Setup Wizard, next. Accept the agreement, next. Next. Install. Yep. Finish. So all of a sudden, we've now got OpenShell. Now by default, it doesn't come with that icon there. It comes with a different one. If we click on that, you'll notice here it says Windows 10 Pro down the side. Not technically correct. That should say Windows 11 Pro. But we're using the classic start menu by the looks of things. If you right click on that button and go into settings, lo and behold, you've got a whole bunch of settings in here. So we can just we can go start button. Now because I've already put this other start button on here, which is overwriting the existing start button. In fact, it's sitting on my system drive, program files, OpenShell, and there's the file name. It's a PNG file. So in order to get that, I just did a search on a search engine and found some Windows 11 icons, and they basically come in a set of 3 as a PNG file, which is a transparent file format, and I am using the custom button on here. Now if we go into the start menu style, we can change that back to that's the original button there. We can keep that, but unfortunately if you keep that, it doesn't like any of these styles that we picked. So let's go OK on that. Let's click that. So we've still got the original start menu. Let's right click on that. No, it's still there. Okay, we're gonna have to do a search this time. So we'll do a search for OpenShell. And what do we got there? OpenShell menu settings. That looks good. Right, here we go. So this is the program. So there's a bunch of stuff that you can do. All sorts of things. You can we'll set it up for classic style, and we will replace the start button with the custom one that I've already set up. In this case, here's an example of that file I was telling you about, mb10silver.png. In fact, if you did a search for that, you'd probably find it on the net somewhere. So let's just try that, see if we can find it, because that'll be a good test. So we'll go back to, we'll open another tab, and we'll slap in here, and we'll go bang, and we'll go, yep, that's the one there. Click on that first one. Okay, it's written in Russian. Don't worry about that. That's all good. The Russians are good at making icons and stuff. So you can actually click on that. We'll see where we get to on that. Yep, here we go. Middle button. They've got, there's swags. Oh, okay, so I can't read Russian, but doesn't matter too much. Maybe there's some sort of, oh yeah, we can translate the page. Maybe that's English. Who knows? It says squiggle, squiggle, squiggle. Let's try click on that, and oh, lo and behold, yes, oh, there we go. We're into American, because we don't speak English here. We only speak American. So, bunch of icons. Maybe you can sort of go and find it. Windows start button icon somewhere. Icons. Click on that. Get some stuff. Okay, lots of interest in. You can have whatever icon you want. So people spend a lot of time fluffing around with this and making this sort of thing. And we've got a bit about themes. Anyway, we're not interested in that. We've got downloaded those icons. We've installed OpenShell. We'll minimize that. We will close that. And we've replaced the start button. So now the start button showing up down here. Now if we click on that, here we go. Here's our start menu, and it's in the old style, and I've put the aero glass thingamajig on there, and it's quite nice. So that's good. So there's another thing you can do. By default, we have a registry entry which will modify the right click context menu because otherwise it's horrible. So I'm going to show you that. We'll click on start, we'll go into Reg Edit, we'll go yes. Now basically in this key here, it won't be here, this particular registry entry here, so you can actually go into the registry, follow this path under computer H key current user, software classes CLSID, create this key here. I'll put a link of the data that you need in the description. In fact, there's a registry file you can download as well for that. Then you create once you've created this, you create a new key called inproc server 32, and you create a new string value, which is this one here, and well, actually it's going to be created automatically, but what you have to do is you have to take the data out, because by default it will, I think it says no data or something like that. So once you take that data out, reboot your machine, that will get rid of the context menu. So we're going to actually delete this. I'm going to delete this. Now, editing the registry, if you don't know what you're doing, I would advise you don't do it, because it can be quite dangerous. So by default, here we go. So we're back to, this is the Windows 11 right click context menu. So there is a bunch of options on here, so such as next desktop background, which you can click on that. You can get a different background if you've got one of these themes installed, which by default it comes with. Very pretty pictures, etc. But really what I want is I want that, but not that. I want the original one on Windows 7, Windows XP, all of that sort of stuff, because I don't like what Microsoft have done ever since Windows 8 onwards. They've butchered it, they've made it supposedly simple or more phone-like, but if you're a semi-decent user with computing, you don't want that. Well, I don't want that, put it that way. So there is show more options. If I click on that, that will give me what I'm used to, such as new folder, new file, new this, new that, and that's a lot easier to use. So yes, I could do that and then click on show more options, but it's an extra mouse click. I don't want to do an extra mouse click. So let's go and have a look. This is what you need. I will put this in the description. You copy this into a Notepad file, right click context menu, .text at the moment. So if we go file save, we will save this file. We will change it to all files, and we will change the file extension to an reg file. Let's go save. Right, so now we've got a reg file. I'll put this data for this stuff down the bottom. If we open that, well, actually we want to open with, just to have a look with it, Notepad. So here you go, it's a .reg file, and we've got this stuff here, which, like I say, I'll copy and paste in the description. Save it, chuck it into Notepad, save it as a reg file. It could be called oranges.reg, doesn't matter. Double click on it, and click on yes, and it's now installed in the registry. So now, in theory, once we log off and log back on, we should have the correct context menu. We'll verify that by going into the registry editor, start run reg edit. Yes, we should be back in the same place where we were, and yes, there it is, voila. Okay, so now it says value not set. So I believe I need to modify this and just basically hit enter and, delete. Okay, and now that value not set has disappeared. So I did try it earlier and it had value not set, but it didn't like it after a reboot. Once you take that out, it seems to work. So that's the main thing. We'll log off, we'll log back on, and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so I didn't actually log off and log on. I cheated. I went into the task manager, which you can do from here, start run. You can type in task manager. There's various ways to do this, or you can just, well, you can't do it when you got OpenShell running, unfortunately. But it does live there. Actually, another little trick, if you hover on the edge of this box, not in the actual circle on the start menu, you will get the original menu. So you've still got access to it, But if you click on the middle of it, you'll get the new start menu. You click on there, and there it is there. So that's all good. So there is a task manager in here somewhere where you can always search on that as well. So task manager, there we go, task manager app. What's it called? Task manager, there we go. Well, it's open anyway. So without having to log off and log back on, if you go down and you find Windows Explorer and you right click on that and you just go restart, that will also do it. Your screen will disappear. It's back up and running. So now if I right click on somewhere, voila, save myself one whole mouse click. So what's better about Windows 11? Well, it's got nice rounded corners on various bits and pieces. If we go into a folder and we just click on any folder, such as this folder here, for example. Okay, so it's got nice little rounded corners on the thing. That's about it, really. It's got maybe a few more bells and whistles. You can put windows side by side, I believe. So if I open up another window and maybe drag it to the side somehow. Oh yeah, it's doing some nice sort of things with that, maybe. Is it? I don't know. Maybe not. But, oh, we got this thing down here. What does this do? Oh yeah. Okay, we can, well, you can have multiple desktops. So maybe you'll click on this desktop here and you, I don't know, maybe you'll have one program open on this desktop and another program open on another desktop, such as, you know, this program here, or what have you. Click on that and you can go back to your other desktop here. So that could be handy, I suppose, if you're sort of working on multiple things. And okay, well, I'll come back to that. I'll just create another desktop and I'll do some more different stuff on this screen, but I don't want to minimize everything. So yeah, that could be handy. It's got the Microsoft to-do task thingamajig, so you can add your shopping list, or I must go and mow the lawns, or make a video, or whatever the thing is. You can, you know, hey, you could do that in Notepad. You could write it down on a bit of paper. That's not going to save you any time. Anything else great and new? Well, nothing that I've seen really. Let's have a look in the start menu here. We got loads of programs here. Well, hang on, where's the mouse going? Well, it's gone for a wander. It's going for a wander here. Well, clearly it doesn't like something. It's moving by itself, so that's not ideal. So I think we'll close one of these desktops. We'll close another one. We'll go back to this. Is my mouse? Okay, my mouse is back. So I wouldn't say it's without its bugs. Now with Firefox, I've got a couple of ad blockers installed, and I did notice last night my machine froze 3 times. So possibly, I might have to, well, I did remove those ad blockers and I might try and put them back again. Since I took them off, it's been stable. That was using Firefox. It seems to be, well, it hasn't crashed since then. It did freeze up at one point. So if you're willing to take a risk, you want to get the latest and supposedly greatest, which doesn't need much specs, give this a whirl and see how you get on. I hope you found some use with this video. If you want to upgrade to Windows 11 instead of Windows 10, well, you can do it right there. It's easy. You don't have to save any settings. You just got to be patient, wait for an hour. If you want to customize the start menu, I've shown you how. We can get the right-click context back as it was for ease of use. Well, that's my opinion anyway. Easily done. Have a look in the description for the links to OpenShell and also the data that you're going to need for the registry edit in order to get that right context menu. Give it a crack, or don't, and we'll see you in the next video. See you later.